I need a picture. Let me show my research cluster that explains.
So, yeah, the link. If you should not worry about the link, we'll share the link later. If you should not, kill me, please. So, she is starting now. Over to you, Ms. Chima.
Thank you so much. I have I have just I have about 30 minutes to explain biology. A completely technical audience. I don't know how I'm going to achieve that, but God help me. So thank you all so much for sitting all through this section. My name is Choma Oselu Onido, and I am a computational biologist. I'm also a researcher. I study, application of genetics and improvement of disease prediction tools for African populations. So one thing I've noticed in machine learning, the field of machine learning, is that when machine learning engineers, I would call myself a machine learning engineer. I think more towards the biology part. When machine learning engineers, design all these algorithms for us, like to predict diseases, heart diseases, diabetes and all of that. Sometimes they don't really take note of the fact that these things might not really work well for all populations. So I am very much concerned about the African population because, yeah, obviously I'm an African, and also because we tend to be very largely underrepresented. So I'll be quickly showing you some graphs to, explain that further. So there's a professor that I very much connect with, Professor Shegun Fatumo. I don't know if you've heard about him. Before I proceed, I want to be sure that we know what computational biology is. We know what computational biology is. No. Oh, okay. Thank God I did not assume. So computational biology from the name computational biology. So using computational tools to solve biology problems, like Google DeepMind, right? So we know what Google DeepMind is, a platform that uses artificial intelligence. They have this AlphaFold for predicting protein structure from protein sequences, for amino acid sequences. So basically just using computational tools to solve biology problems. The COVID-19 pandemic we had, it was computational biologists like us that solve that problem. So these are the things, this is basically what computational biology is all about. So some people interchange computational biology with bioinformatics. So bioinformatics is, some people use it interchangeably, but some people with different schools of thought would argue that they are different things, but that's not what we are here. That's not why we are here. So there is no genomic discovery without genomic diversity. And it was interesting to know that, obviously, some people know that already, that Africans have the longest evolutionary history. Like other populations, like the Europeans and the South Asians, the East, and all of that, they migrated from African populations. So I don't know if you knew that before, but you know that today. Yes, so we have the longest evolutionary history, like OGs. So, and it's very interesting that we have the largest genetic diversity, yet we are very much underrepresented in genetic database. It's appalling, and this is something I've spent the last few years of my career researching. And because of time constraints, I'll just use a graph to show you a little bit of it. So before I explain, before I go deeper, so the human genome can be seen as a long stretch of sentence. And this sentence consists of about 2 billion sequences, letters. So ACGT, adenine, cytosine. I'm taking you back to your biology class. I know so many computer science and students hate biology because I teach biology at the undergraduate level. So whenever I'm talking about it, they're always looking at me like, what are you saying? Let's get to the code. But yeah, so, and it's also interesting to know that even with these 3 billion base pairs, they are 99.9% similar. So you and the next person sitting beside you, you're 99.9% similar. Only 0.1% is different between you and your neighbor. And it looks like 0.1% is very small, but it's actually big because 0.1% of 30 of 3 billion base cells is 3 million, right? 0.1%. So that means we have about 3 million differences in our DNA compared to the next person. So when just so that when you're involved in a conversation sometime in the future, you can only say, do you know that we are actually like 9.9% similar? If that's what you get from this presentation. So we know what genotype is. I'm not talking about AAAS and all of that, but genotype in the genetic sense is your unique genetic code. That thing that makes you you. So your genotype is not what makes you like your genotype does not automatically or 100% determine how you look. It is influenced by the environment. So genotype is your unique genetic code. Phenotype is what's expressed. So phenotype is your curly black hair. Maybe someone in your family has thick hair like you. Maybe someone in your family has thick hair like you and you inherited that. So that's phenotype. Then something like height, weight, and all of that. Those things are phenotype, things that are expressed. Your light skin, maybe someone in your family is light skin like you. So those are what we call phenotypes. So phenotypes is not 100% determined by phenotypes. They're influenced by the environment. What do I mean environment? Like environment like diet, like for example, someone has a risk of getting cancer based on their DNA, right? And this person has a risk of getting cancer because of their DNA and they smoke and they keep smoking. That increases their risk by a large percentage. What I mean by environment. So environment influences phenotype. So what am I telling you about all these things? All these things is just to get down to polygenic risk scores. So basically, polygenic risk score is a score that computes an individual risk of getting a specific disease. So when you think about ML models, like you talk about a model that predicts heart disease and all of that, those things that ML models and all of that. But there's something that came up in 2009 called genetic risk scores that scientists said, okay, let's find a way to. There are different variants in our genome. So variants is what predisposes a person to a specific disease. So there are different variants in our genome, and a combination of all these variants can actually predispose somebody to a specific disease. So why not let's find a way to complete all these variants together, sum them up in a statistical way using ML models to form a score we call polygenic risk score. So that's just basically what polygenic risk score is. So there are different applications of polygenic risk score. It's used in breast cancer screening, it's used in heart disease risk prediction, diabetes prediction, prevention, drug response. If you know that if you know a specific someone's genetic profile, you'll be able to decipher that this particular treatment will work for this person based on their genetic profile. You're not just giving them a drug to take, just like you're just saying, oh, this drug, because you're having headache, take this drug. Because you're having experiencing this symptom, take this drug. It's different here. For this genetic aspect, we call it precision medicine. You're basically saying, based on your genetic profile, based on that specific arrangement of your genome, we are going to design a drug that would work exactly how it's supposed to work in your system, and it will give you or no side effects. So that's basically what precision medicine is, and there are different applications. It's actually being applied in consumer different clinical aspects, allergical, ambient genetics, marine genetics, and the likes. So now the problem is all these things are good. It's currently being adopted into the clinic. But the issue is that it doesn't really work well accurately for Africans. And that's a big problem. So I want to show you these two charts briefly. So the chart by the left shows a chart showing the data sets that we use to compute originally this for. And you can see the red part is much more larger than the others. And you can see that Europeans, 86% of the data sets used to calculate this risk score are belong to Europeans. And then by the right, you can see the prediction accuracy. Europeans up way up there. And then look at the next part again. Look at Africa for Africans. So Africa is the legend is one purple. Can you see purple in the graph? I think you need a microscope to get the representation of Africa in this particular chart. And this is actually reality. In the database, we have very little representation, and yes, we have the largest genetic diversity. So this is the prediction accuracy drops for Africans. So that's the point of my talk. Here that's the message reports in genetics ML accuracy. Of course, you can get very nice accuracy, but if it doesn't work for all populations, you're not really. I don't think you're working. So inclusion should be something that ML practitioners, ML engineers should consider when they build their models. I don't know, I'm not talking about the healthcare angle now. In things you're doing, inclusion, think about all round, like how would it impact on other things? So this is something I like to call data deserts in global genomics. See African on the map, then Africans on the map, Latin Americans and then South Asians. So there are data initiatives in Africa that help you to sort this out. It's a lot of money, like millions of dollars and pounds, like to solve this. We have the African Bioinformatics Institute, the Nigerian 100 Genomes Project. We also have the African Biogenome Project led by Thank God Ebenezer. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's quite active on LinkedIn. So why performance gaps appear? Training data, like we just saw. The training data is largely representing. So the training data is largely of European population. That's why it doesn't perform well for Africans. Another thing is population structure. Our genetic differences is what makes us unique. I think it should be seen as a strength, not a weakness. There was a researcher that he carried out a research and he found out that the genetic diversity of Africans, if you keep exempting it from global efforts in precision medicine, you won't get anywhere. So like let me not say it because I'm part of precision medicine, like we literally need us